Hello guys, today we're eating good. We've got new card support that got announced today. It took them 4 sets, but we finally got there. Um, the main one being Law and Beppo that's coming out in 3 weeks for us, and the Alien Interaction, which I'll talk about a little bit, but I don't really care about this card since it is OP12. Um, what you see on screen right now is the projected list that I'll be trying in a couple weeks with Carrot. I really think this is like one of the going to be one of the pillars of the meta. You gotta pretend this 10 cost NL is the new Law and Beppo because Law and Beppo has not been added to the sim yet. As it literally uh it's been out for about 3 hours since time of recording. I got home, I turned this on, and now I'm here. Um, I'll talk more about the deck list in a bit. I'll talk about Law and Beppo. So what does this card do? On play, you can rest anything, any of your opponent's characters, and then you get to freeze it as well. So it's 5 cost Bonnie effect plus a Garchi. Garchi being where is it? This Mink event. It's being covered up at the moment. Hold on. Garchi. It basically wrecks anything. It's a combination of this and 5 cost Bonnie, right? Um, Also the 11k body isn't nothing either. Um, this body means that when this card comes out, it'll be OP11, so GP Luffy will be around. Swing 11 at their leader means that because they have an 8 cost blocker, the 8k Katakuri, it means it specifically has to be Gum Gum Giant that they use, which some decks aren't on 4 copies to get rid of that attack. If it's gear second, they have to use an extra 1k or like just give me an extra card, right? So I think this being 11,000 is actually very relevant. Um, this card is a lot. It's Mink and the Supernova, um, which means your leader effect is live. One of the biggest problems with this deck was that you usually just run out of Mink names on field. It would just all get removed, and your leader effect is becomes not live. 11,000 also out of range for Pop Shanks. The biggest drawback is the on play, right? Um, but the decks has all this deck has always struggled against Blackbeard. It was always one of your most unwinnable matchups, as is Bonnie. Bonnie against Blackbeard is not great. Unless you draw multiple hoodies. Same with this deck. If you draw multiple hoodies, you win. If you don't, unlucky. Um, yeah. So the second part of the effect of Law and Beppo, if your opponent has 2 rested characters upon the resolution of the first half, your leader becomes 7k until your end of your opponent's turn, which is absurd. This effect will always be live in Carrot, unlike Bonnie. Um, so Bonnie, if your opponent doesn't swing the turn prior, they will have just all active characters and use this effect. Tap down one, you don't get the 7k. In Carrot, you can use your leader effect to tap down one, and then you become 7k. And I think it's important to note that the 7k doesn't get negated by 10 cost Martial D Teacher's effect. Um, yeah, I'll go over this one here as well. Um, it's not much of note. It's basically like a green jack. It rests itself to freeze a 5 cost or less. And the one notable thing that is the 6/7, which means if you play this on 6, um, it cannot get backmaned on your opponent's 7 down turn, which isn't nothing, right? Like you tap down like a Yasop and then freeze it. Um, Also, this is different from Carrot in the sense that if you didn't open like a 1 cost searcher, you can play this, use your leader effect to tap something down, and then freeze it. Where if you were to play like the 5 cost Carrot or the 5 cost Bonnie, you would have to have a Mink established on field already. Yeah. Let's go over some of the lists. This is projected to be OP11 meta, so building with Snake Man in mind. So obviously 12 2Ks. Um, these two are just absolute insane 2Ks. Milky enables some 13 down turns if you have Zoe, and this Carrot searches for Zoe. And Tashigi is just one of the best 2Ks of all time in green. Also, 12 2K is also relevant because of Isa's kid. UP Luffy usually likes to swing a lot of 9s and 8s at you. Rarely will they swing a 10. So having like a plethora of 2Ks is very important because 9 cost Sanji is 9k power, 9 cost Big Mom is 9k power, 8 cost Katakuri is 8k, and Snake Man is 8k as well. The 8 cost Secret Rare Blue Luffy, um, and their leader doesn't get to swing. Against GP, GP likes to swing a lot of 6s and 7s, which means if they don't find the Gamma Knife on this kid, it's usually game on the spot. Um, yeah, you see, we're only playing 2 of the stage. Um, the stage is good, but it's not as necessary as it is in EB02, and you just need room to make room for other stuff. And Smoker and Bonnie are the kind of other 5 cost units that this deck plays, other than the carrot. This allows for allows for 13 down turns if you have this, Milky, and Stage. You can play 8 cost Kid and one of your 10 drops in the same turn. Cody Jones, again, if you draw this, tap down a Dawn against purple, usually you can just go for game. If you have like 1 or 2 big guys established already, Bonnie freezes a Dawn. It can put like Snake Man and Shanks behind tempo so much if they're not playing around it. Also early game against some of the decks, if you just freeze a Dawn randomly, they're not gonna know what to do. They're behind the whole turn. Like let's say you're playing against what's a good example? Like obviously Shanks comes to mind. They're going to 8, freeze a Dawn, you can't play really. If you don't have Beckman on the spot, game over. Right? Bartolomeo, this card cycles. One of the big problems is that a lot of your pieces are not searchable, but that's changed. With this new law in Beppo, you now have a searchable high end off of Wanda. But this finds you your non-searchable pieces like Doflamingo, Hody, Kid, and Shanks. This Shanks is actually really important. Obviously, this is built for OP11. So once you get a Kid on field, if you don't have anything that can, restand it on, you can Shanks and Kid. You Kid effect in the same turn, which means if you swing 5 and try to beat like a Katakuri blocker, you can just Shanks it away. And then more blockers, Carrot and Pedro. Carrot is the promo one from the regional packs. It's kind of mid. Mainly just a small searchable name that turns on your leader effect as well. Pedro, also you can play it off a Kid, obviously. Not as good as 2 cost Rosinante, but it's a mink. Also, the art's pretty good. Pedro's quite important in the sense that you can kill a 6 or less on KO. Being 6 or less is quite relevant since you'll always be able to kill the 4 cost 0/0 with the stage on top of it. The other way, this also allows you to kill a Sandy Pudding. Even if they have stage with a 7 cost, when the second one hits the field, you're always going to be able to kill one unless they have double stage. Resting a Dawn, if your opponent is good, they won't play into this. That's the irrelevant part. And then what else? The new 10 drop, obviously 4. Insane in this deck, I think it's kind of mid and Bonnie. I think Bonnie kind of just wants to play a lot more defensively with the more 10 cost Don Quixote do Flamingos. But yeah, in Carrot, one of the underrated things was that you can play this and then Shanks it the next turn, which is like a very niche combo. But because you're Carrot and not Bonnie, you don't need to leave a Dawn up, right? And I think not having to leave a Dawn up means that you don't need to worry about sticking things to Cavendish or Smoker or Zoe, which is completely fine, right? With Bonnie, you need like 1 Dawn up at all times for your leader effect. But yeah, I'm excited for this structure deck to come out. I think this is exactly what this deck needed. Like a 10 cost mink it's insane, guys. It's absolutely insane. I probably will put up some gameplay of this as soon as I get my hands on the cards, or when they upload it into Sim. Probably stream some ranked, see how high we can climb with this carrot in the next reset. But yeah, hope you guys are as thrilled about this support as I am. I'm not covering any other cards other than this one for this video, as I just think this leader is super underrated. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.